Welcome back to Raccoon Tweeties. My guest today is the fourth Verzi triplet, Adam Verzi. No, I'm kidding. My guest is my good friend, Adam Johnson. He's a comedian and poker player. Say what's up.
Hey, what's happening? Nice to be here.
Absolutely. Good to have you on here.
It is. I had listened to the podcast, although admittedly I've taken a few weeks off, but I've listened to probably a dozen episodes in total. So
I don't hold it against you, but I'm glad that you listened to whatever you could.
For sure.
I'm glad you're a huge fan. We have a fan here, Gerardo. You didn't even know that. You didn't know before that he listens to the
until he came in here and started holding us accountable for things we said.
Right. He's a big social justice guy.
I was a big fan of the Joe Menente app. I think that was the last one I listened to.
You like that?
That was great, yeah.
Yeah, that was for all the fourth wall heads out there. An unofficial history of fourth wall. Actually, the official history of fourth wall because
the only history.
The only history. We got it from the horse's mouth.
I'm definitely a fourth wall head. I've been there. I'm pre-slotted is how I categorize it. So I'm an OG. So.
Right. So Joe claims that he's the one who invented the slotted mic, although he refuses to call it that. It's a fourth wall mic.
That was a funny distinction I saw him make. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that's true? Do you think Drew is telling the truth?
That's my recollection of it. Yeah. I mean, I remember going to that mic. You would go there. You would be like 35th in the list, and then people would just leave for 2 hours and come back when they thought it was their time. Like that was kind of like how the vibe was. It was kind of like just people circling in and out, and then you change it. I've never seen him. That's the first mic I've ever seen do that. So yeah. I think it is.
I also believe him. I don't think it's a lie like Spectrum saying that they have good service. The fucking internet is full of shit. Knocked it out. Now it doesn't work. But anyway, that's besides the point. I had you on today because you told me about this scandal that's going on in poker. And I want you to talk about it, but I wanted Gerardo. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
I saw the clip on Twitter. People kept sharing it and liking it. And it was like, before I watched it, it was this woman who's kind of attractive and she beats a guy and then he's kind of a dick to her about it. And for some reason, it was like a big scandal and people at the beginning were tweeting about how it's sexist and all that. So that's all I saw. And I saw female comics start kind of sharing it and tweeting about it. So I automatically became skeptical of like the validity of the woman's truth, or like the validity of the woman's version of this poker thing, because female comics were getting into it and a lot of them are poker players. Probably a lot of them are also criminals and have a strange relationship with the truth, as we know. So I was like, what is this? And I thought I was going to go away, but then you sent me all those clips. So what is going on with, like, explain it before.
First of all, you're a professional poker player?
Yeah, I've been doing that full time for like 18 years after I graduated or something like that. Like I'm like 38. So yeah, I've been doing it full time for a good minute now. So yeah.
So I don't know if I can't put all your business out there because you may be telling me things that are in confidence or whatever about it. He has all these crazy accomplishments he's done from poker and crypto and all that stuff. But one thing for sure that's really funny is the picture of you. You were like placed in the World Series of Poker, right?
Yeah, I've made a final table. Right. I got like a sixth place.
Sixth place. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to watch, as you know, I don't like playing poker, but I used to watch it. And I would watch all those like Doyle Brunson and like Phil Ivey and Phil Hellmuth on the Texas Hold'em thing. And I got really into it. So you literally almost won that shit.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain poker to people that aren't necessarily like in it day in and day out. So like, yeah, I made a World Series of Poker final table. Mm-hmm. However, not to be confused with the main event of the World Series, which is like the biggest event of like the World Series is every summer in Vegas. And there's like, I'm making up a number, but there's like 60 World Series events where if you win that tournament, you are a World Series of Poker champion. You get a bracelet, which is like a thing in poker, like a Super Bowl ring or whatever. Like, how many bracelets you got? It's like how people measure somebody's worth in the game or whatever. So like,
it's like the bowl of fries at Uncle Clyde's.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the same kind of level.
If I would have won that tournament, I would have got a World Series of Poker bracelet, and I would have won $575,000. But instead, I got 6th place, and I got $106,000. But
That's so crazy though. I saw that. I saw the 6-figure thing next to your name.
Yeah,
and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
that's so much goddamn money to win. Taxes take out some of it, but that's fucking so cool, man.
But that's the thing. Cool. It's like, it's cool, but then like the greed pig of a poker player, like you're not happy that you won 106 because you're thinking, oh man, first place was 470,000 more, first place was 570. I got 100, or if I just would have went one more place, I would have got 170. And then another place was 240. So you're kind of thinking about, you're always looking at like all the prize pools above you,
right?
As opposed to being grateful for what you had, which is, me getting 6th place. But yeah.
Even like, if you are in comedy and you do a Comedy Central 30-minute special, you get like $1,000 and you have to say Trevor Noah is funny and like pretend to like Tiffany Haddish and shit like that. You like did really well and it's a huge achievement.
Yeah.
You have you're obviously, it's your profession as being a gambler, a poker player, but you also have the credibility from your achievements to be an authority on this subject and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I've been playing full time for, like I said, a couple decades now. But like what I mainly do as a professional is that I'm a cash game player.
Right.
So tournament poker maybe only comprise like, I don't know, 3% of my hours of poker over a given year. Like I mostly am a cash game player.
Right.
Which is what this controversy happened in a cash game. Now, for those that, the tournament is one thing where everybody starts with the same amount of chips. When you lose your chips, you're done. It plays down to a winner. There's a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th place, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cash game is totally different. A cash game is you go to a casino, you buy in your chips for cash, and you're basically just battling everybody for their chips. And you can leave when you want. You can start when you want. There's no 1st place, 2nd place. Like every day I go to work, it's like I won 2,000. The next day I lose 1,500. The next day I win 3,000. The next day I lose. It's just like a constant.
But this one is a cash game.
Yes, this controversy is a cash game. It is not a tournament, and it is a streamed cash game that's on the internet. And this particular stream, Hustler Casino Live, is like the most poppin' stream. It's got like the most views lately because they have all these. They had Mr. Beast on recently, who's like a huge person. Yeah. They have all these like big time reality stars and like really famous poker players that play because they play like massive stakes. Okay. So they've got quite a following in their year that they've been up. And this particular hand happened with their like most popular player on the stream. His name is Garrett Adelstein. He's like a phenomenal cash game player. He's kind of famous and captivating because he plays crazy fast. He does all these huge bluffs. He like plays crazy fearless. So he's really fun to watch.
Right.
But he's also really skilled. He can get away with that because he's so good.
Okay.
I
watched the stream with Garrett. And Jarda, if we put it on, he's so boring. Like, they'll probably the poker people, if they see the like clip, they'll be like, this guy's an idiot. But I was like, this guy has no personality. He's boring as shit. Yeah. He's not doing anything. And the announcer's like, oh my God, I cannot believe that Garrett seems like he wants to die. I was like, he literally doesn't, nothing has changed in his face. He has no... Yeah. Like, and it's, you can tell he's really angry. It's like, no, you can't.
Is his last name Russo?
Yeah. Ian Russo.
But yeah,
please don't mention him on the podcast.
But some players are talkative and outgoing at the table. Yeah, he's pretty stoic, but his play does all the talking.
I'm
like
kidding. I'm sure he's great.
Yeah.
I was like barely watching it. I was at work trying to figure it out. But anyway, sorry. So keep going. So what happened?
Yeah, so this stream is really highly watched. And now this particular episode where the controversy happened is like it's like one of the most watched streams because Phil Ivey is in the game. Yeah, who is regarded as like the GOAT of poker. Mm-hmm. He's like the Michael Jordan of poker playing. He's like phenomenal. He's like a crazy, just super sick gambler. He's like huge following. So he's in the game. Mm-hmm. Garrett's in the game, who's like super becoming like a streaming star, from like his exploits on Hustler Casino Live. So this is like a really highly watched stream. Like all their streams get a lot of views, but this is like a real big one.
Right.
And the unique thing about this stream is this girl played in the game named Robbie.
What's her last name, or does it just go
Robbie Jade Liu?
Doesn't sound like a real name, right?
Yeah. Well, her husband's a guy named Charles Liu, who's like a famous like crypto Web3 lawyer or something.
Oh, wow.
Some like eccentric kind of lawyer guy.
So these are kind of bad people. But,
okay, Lord. So so she doesn't have a lot of experience playing either.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting that like, wow, this person's playing in this massive game against Phil Ivey and Garrett. I mean, it's like not a good idea of like giving somebody $100,000 to play with this game against these great people.
So her husband gave her the money?
That's the thing. The person that put her in the game is this guy that goes by Rip. If you're watching the stream, it'll say Rip, but his name I think is Jacob. And this Jacob guy is, I don't want to say he's the cut man for Jake Paul because I think he wraps his hands. I'm not sure if that's what that title is, but he's in Jake Paul's camp.
Yeah.
He's down in like Puerto Rico or wherever they're training right now for this fight because he's
Spider, right?
yeah, he's playing or fighting Silva. So, but this guy's like in the Jake Paul camp, and he plays in the game. He's in the stream as well, but he put her in the game.
Wait a minute. He played in the game with her and Garrett?
And that's a good eyebrow raise by you.
Too, right?
Yeah, because that was something that people are saying, like, because they just...
He staked her and he played, so they could be playing together.
You could, that could be, that's one,
Did
that's
I
like
say
one
that
minor
right?
thing.
Is it staked?
Yeah, it's staking somebody. Yeah, typically...
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty smart guy.
Typically, if you're staking somebody and you're in the same game, you would disclose that to everybody at the table.
And they didn't know that he staked her.
Yeah, the people at the table didn't know that. Supposedly, I think they told the people in production that, and maybe the people in production didn't relay it to the people.
Right. Well, honestly, anything with TV, any kind of filming aspect, I'm like, this is fake, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's kind of weird because it's like a reality. They're kind of like framing their stream as like a reality poker TV show and stuff.
Right,
so like that's kind of how they're like marketing their thing.
Right.
And the guy that owns the stream is a guy. There's two people that own it, like Nick Vartucci and Ryan Feldman. Nick Vartucci is like a poker player who like used to like do like real estate flipping and stuff. He'd have like all these like real estate flipping commercials on TV all the time. Now he's like a full-time poker player. He invested in the stream and he plays in the stream. So a lot of people are like, how can you own the thing and then you're playing in the thing? But that's kind of how poker streams work. It seems a little off-putting to the uninitiated, but there are a few things.
Jake Paul is a clear scammer, right? I mean, all those fighting. What was the thing called that they had? The Triller, or what was it called?
Trill. Yeah, I forgot
whatever that shit
the,
was. That was a huge scam set up. Like that was fake as fuck.
Yeah,
they did that to make money. So I'm starting to think that this chick is for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to say a scam. I guess you could say some kind of like marketing scheme. I mean, he's basically just fighting guys that don't box.
Right.
Like he's a fighter boxer who's picking wrestling. He's fighting against guys that wrestle.
Right.
That are famous. And they figured out a good formula and he's getting a ton of views and a bunch of money. So, I mean, I don't know if I'd call that a scam. I mean, he's really good at marketing and, creating opportunities for himself financially, but I don't know much about him. Yeah.
He's just as good at that as Flappers is for booking like shitty comics to headline that were on TV 20 years ago and, whatever. And like
holding Jay Leno captive.
Holding Jay Leno captive, burnt pizza and all that stuff. But so, all right. So tell me, I keep interrupting you.
But not to run the line.
I will continuously do it. But
no, good.
I want to keep doing the story. I want to.
Okay, so that's kind of the scene of the setting. You got Phil Ivey, who's this best player ever in the game. You got this Garrett kid who's fearless, super tough, becoming pretty famous in poker. And then now you got this Robbie lady in the game who like isn't that familiar with poker. She hasn't been playing that long. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are thinking like, wow, why would you want to put why would you want to put somebody in this tough a game that like doesn't have that much experience? Like that's kind of a weird investment thesis.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm going to put somebody in a game for $100,000 to play against Phil Ivey and Garrett. Like it's kind of like, like why would you do that? That's kind of weird. So anyhow, but hey, maybe they just thought, we're going to try to create some reality TV star, and this is going to be your in, this is going to be your open, or so, who knows what you could concoct.
Yeah, she looks like a reality TV star, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, the whole thing that happened was she got in this hand with Garrett, who's a super tough, fearless player, and she basically got in a hand. She had like Jack high, which is absolutely nothing. She had Jack 4, and the flop is 10, 10, 9 with 2 clubs. The turn is a 3. Okay, so she has Jack high. She has absolutely nothing.
Right.
Garrett bets like 3,000 on the flop. She calls, which is weird. 10, 10, 9. But sometimes you could like maybe call a bet on the flop. It's called floating.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When she calls, does that mean he has to show cards or something? Or
No. There's multiple streets. So there's 4 streets in poker. There's pre-flop, and then there's on the flop, then there's the turn, and then there's the river.
Right.
After the river is the final street, so the action on the river is where a hand would get tabled. So if you bet on the river and I called you on the river, then that's when you would show hands.
Okay.
Or whenever all the chips are wagered, you would show a hand too.
What does call mean?
So like you bet, let's say you bet a hand, I call. That means I'm continuing in the hand. So
that means he's matching your bet.
Yeah, I'm matching your bet. I'm continuing in the hand.
Right.
When you bet on the river, that's the conclusion of the hand. So if I call you on the river, that's when the hands get turned over. Okay. You wouldn't necessarily turn the hand over when you called on a previous street unless everybody's chips are all in.
Damn.
then you would turn your hand over.
This
'cause
sounds
you're
like
all
we're
in.
speaking like some Ukrainian
Yeah.
shit or some
Yeah,
Russian.
sometimes it can
it's
be
like
a
a
little-
different language.
Dude, there was a good like 10 minutes where Brendan looked smart, and then now
I don't want to look smart. I don't know poker at all. I refuse poker games, as you know.
Sure.
Well, you invite me to stuff. I tell you fuck off.
Yeah.
I told Kengar to fuck off. I told Caitlin to fuck off. I've lost friendships over not wanting to do things like poker and fucking paintball. All you guys, that's all you want to do.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
it's fun for you guys. But I want you to know that if I don't know these things, and for some reason you're a poker guy watching this, you can suck my dick.
Yeah, most people are,
I don't care.
yeah,
I do not care. I have a friend who's better than you at poker, most likely. Okay, so take it up with him. Now you'll never be able to go to Flappers or play poker again.
whatever.
I'm sure you'll do great.
So anyhow, she calls his bet with Jack high in the flop, which is kind of sus, but like, it's okay, whatever. He bet 3,000. Maybe she's calling to try to bluff him on the turn. If he checks the turn, maybe she'll bet big and he'll fold and she'll win with Jack high. So it's unorthodox to call a flop bet up with Jack high and no draw, no prospects, but whatever.
Right.
The turn comes a 3. So 10, 10, 9, 3.
She has a 3 though, right?
She has Jack 4.
Oh, she has a Jack 4.
Yeah, she doesn't have any pair.
Okay.
Garrett bets $10,000 in the turn. 10, 10, 9, 3. She makes it 20,000.
Because she calls, right?
No, she raises.
She raises. Oh, she
He
raises
bets 10,000 and she says, make it 20,000.
Instead of her being like, I'll do 10.
Yes, she wants
I
to
see.
raise. Yes.
I'm learning.
Yeah. So he bets
Shut
10,000.
up, fucking asshole.
He bets 10,000 on the turn. She raises to 20,000, which would be the minimum you could raise.
Okay.
It gets back to him. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, and this is where people are like, what? He goes all in.
Okay.
Now, we're a lot of money here. He has like, I don't know, 400,000 or 500,000 in chips or something like that. She has 130,000 to start the hand. So she made it 20,000 on the turn. He put her all in for her last $109,000. So now if she wants to continue in the hand,
Just to put on.
she has to put in $109,000 more dollars to see this hand to the end.
So double what she's already put in?
Way more. I mean, he bet 10,000. She raises to 20,000. So now it's back to him. He's facing a $10,000 raise from her.
Okay.
So he can either fold his hand, he's going to lose the hand if you fold. If you fold, you lose.
Yeah.
So he can either fold the hand, he can call her $10,000 raise, and then we would go to a river,
Okay.
to which there would be another street of action, or he can raise. He has the option to raise. What he decides to do is to raise, and he decides to raise for all of her chips,
Okay.
which is $109,000.
Right.
So she's only got like $24,000 in this hand right now. She called 4,000 on the flop or whatever. She put 20,000 in on the turn, but now she has to call 109,000 more. Now at this point, there's no bluffing. You're all in for all your chips. You either call or you fold. So if you're calling, it's under the presumption of, I think I have the best hand.
Right.
There's no bluffing at that point. You can't bluff. You're faced to either fold or call off all your chips.
Right.
So she decides, she calls 109,000 more with Jack high, which is very weird. Like it'd be one thing to bluff the Jack high, because at least if you're bluffing, the person can fold and you can win, sure.
Yeah.
But when somebody's putting you all in for all your chips and you're calling with nothing, basically, it's pretty quizzical. I mean, a lot of times in poker, if you hero called, you could, I called him with ace high, or I called with a pair of twos. She loses to queen high.
Right.
She loses to king high. She loses to ace high.
She loses to pair
to all
twos.
these
She
things.
loses to better jacks.
Yeah.
She loses to queen jack. That's an open ended. Like so, like she basically can't beat a thing. So how are you calling $109,000 more when you can't even beat a bluff?
She's going in and she has no options really. It's kind of like every time Ian Russo steps on a stage, she has nothing to say. So it's like always a big bet.
I'll cut that
Right.
part out.
And for the people that haven't seen the hand, Garrett has 8 high, but he had 8-7 of clubs. So he had a straight flush draw. The flop is 10 of clubs, 10 of hearts, 9 of clubs or whatever. So he has a straight flush draw. So he only has 8 high, but he has a pretty powerful hand to try to like bluff somebody off. Because even if he gets called, he has a lot of outs. He can make a straight. He can make a flush, for example. So that's why he's doing what he's doing, because he has a lot of equity in the hand.
Sense, right?
Yeah, so it makes sense that he plays his hand like that. But it's very weird. Like whenever she called off 109,000 with Jack high, the announcers were like, "Oh,
they flipped out.
Yeah, they must be like, oh, the card reader must be wrong." Because like I've actually commentated at the Hustler Casino Live for like 4 or 5 streams, and now I'm a commentator at Live at the Bike. So this is kind of interesting to me because I've actually been on both sides of this. I've been in the control room, which is like under investigation now and all that. So everybody's like looking at, all it's like a huge autopsy on everything now.
Yeah.
But so it's very interesting that she called off that with like nothing. It's so weird. And so Garrett, after the hand's over, he's like, I got cheated. Like, how could you call $109,000 with like nothing?
And the hand ended up being what that she won on?
Jack high ended up winning because he didn't make a flush and he didn't make a straight. So he was left with 8 high. So her Jack high beat his 8 high.
Oh.
So she ends up winning the pot, but it's so weird because it's like the only way it's like in a lot of people's minds, like the only way you could make that call is if you could see his cards. Because how can you call $109,000 with Jack high? You can't even. I mean, it's like it's crazy.
That is. I guess so. I mean, I don't fully understand, but I see what you're saying. It sounds crazy, but then at the same time, she also is very rich and made us not care, right? Her husband is like this Web3 asshole.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like she's very rich, but then it's like, well, her husband didn't put her in the game. She didn't put herself in the game. Like some other random guy that she doesn't even know that well puts her in the game.
Yeah,
and then he's putting her in the game with Phil Ivey and Garrett, and now she makes this crazy clairvoyant call. So everybody's just like, huh?
Gerardo, the guy that wraps Jake Paul's hands is richer than anyone in our families will ever be. How fucked up is that, dude?
So
all of our families in our history, the Alarcons and the Coonies, probably the Johnsons too,
probably,
right?
Yeah, my family's pretty middle class. Yeah, no, my family, we don't. Yeah, I don't.
None of them are as rich as the guy that is in Puerto Rico wrapping Jake Paul's hands,
or whatever. I think it's Puerto. It might be Cuba, or who knows? But
that's not. I mean, I don't think people are going to get mad about that. That would be. That is the kind of comment that people write, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not Puerto Rico.
This guy's full of crap. Obviously, it's in Panama.
This is a real poker player. God.
So there's so many layers of this. So of course the hand goes down. Garrett, he plays fast and loose. He's lost a lot of big hands. He's played tons on the stream. He's never when you watch it, you're thinking, oh, this guy's a dick. What are you talking about? But if for people that watch the stream, they're very familiar with how people conduct themselves. So how he was acting was like, wow, I got cheated. And if anybody's played any amount of poker, especially people that have played a lot of poker, it's totally normal to think you got cheated in that hand. Now that doesn't mean you did get cheated.
Yeah.
But that's the default assumption. If that happened to you, especially it's like the magnitude of the pot. I mean, it's like 109. It's not like you got called for a nominal amount of money with Jack. It's like this is a huge, massive bet.
But also too, what about this? Poker's pretty boring sometimes, right?
Yeah.
When you start playing poker hours, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I want to get the fuck out of here. And she's like, Web3 dick is waiting for me back at home. I could just put all this shit in. And he's got another fucking 20 million, whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
do you think he's
this is a terrible hand. If I go all in, I lose.
Do you think that guy's that rich? He's like millions and millions.
Who, the Rip or the Jacob guy? I don't know, to be honest. I'm sure he's pretty successful. I'm sure he has a pretty good, I would assume he has definitely like a 6 or 7 figure net worth, I would assume.
So nobody knows why the Jake Paul guy gave her this money?
Yeah, people are kind of confused as why would he put her in the game like that? It's kind of bizarre, yeah.
One other thing I wanted to ask about, because I think we should probably pull up the clip, but I heard on some of the stream that you gave me, what's the guy's name?
Probably Joey Ingram. He's a professional poker player. He's a streamer. He's been doing these investigation streams. I think he's done 11 so far, and he's doing another one tomorrow.
Okay.
But basically, he just starts a stream. He investigates it. He has all these guests that'll come on. They'll say their theories. They'll say what their investigations, what they have heard, and then he takes calls from people. People that are prominent, like a personal a lawyer.
Has Doyle Brunson called in?
Doyle has not called in. So a lot of the call-ins are like this guy named Haralabos Bulgaris.
What? That guy has a great name.
Yeah, he actually got really famous because Luka Doncic basically fired him from the Mavs. He's one of the most popular, one of the most famous sports bettors of all time. He's really into analytics, and Mark Cuban and the Mavs hired him to be their data analytics, smart analytics guy.
Yeah.
So he's a Dallas Mavericks executive who recently got canned and was in a lot of the news lately. But he's also a poker player. He's played high stakes poker with Gabe Kaplan and
who's the guy in Rounders?
Matt Damon?
No. Did Matt Damon call in? He should call in.
Yeah, right.
What's Matt Damon even doing right now?
Are you talking about the
Johnny Chan or something?
Johnny Chan? Yeah, no, he hasn't called in yet. He has not called in.
What about the fat guy that won for the first time ever?
Greg Raymer?
Greg Raymer calling.
He has not called in. No.
This show sucks.
It's mostly just famous poker players or famous gamblers. The this like billionaire guy named Bill Perkins.
Yeah, we saw him.
Yeah.
But what I thought was interesting, the small snippet I heard, was somebody said that the guy doing the counting, or one of the people that they hired to do the cards or counting, was a criminal.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to speed. Okay, so basically the hand. So now everybody knows the hand that happened. Why it was kind of weird. After that hand happened, supposedly Garrett asked her, "Hey, we got to speak off the table or whatever to the side." And like Ryan Feldman, who's like the producer guy, one of the main guys that runs it, I guess he was there. And I guess Garrett, I guess nobody knows exactly what was said, but anyhow, he basically impressed upon her that he felt there was something off-putting in the hand, and he asked for the money back, and she gave him his money back. She gave him $135,000. So now everybody's like, wait a second, she made this weird call. It looks like she's cheating, but then it's like, well, if you're some slimeball cheater, why would you give why would you give the money back?
What did
instantly?
she say?
She said she gave the money back for one, her stories, like she goes back and forth. She tells stories from all different directions, all different ways. So it's kind of hard to
Heather Marulli.
It's hard to,
I
but
understand.
at the time it was reported that she said she gave the money back because she liked production and she wanted the show to go on. She knows he's like one of the main guys in the show. So she's like coming at it from like a reality TV production. She's like, oh, I gave the money back because I respect production and I respect the show. And which seems kind of like a weird, you're just going to give up 135. Like it's a lot of money and it's not her money. So she gives the money back to Garrett. And then this rip guy supposedly loses his shit because he's like, hey, Jack, that's my money.
Yeah, was her plan? Was her plan to give him the money? They probably had a deal worked out, right?
So I think
like you stake and then you get a percentage.
Yeah, perhaps. Right? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think that's ever came. But yeah, so he puts her in the get. Yeah, so it's so weird. But she gives the money back when Garrett basically says like, "Hey, that was effed up," or whatever was said behind whatever was said off site, to the side of the table, whatever. So that was like a weird wrinkle. It's like she gave the money back. Like that's odd. So that was kind of like a weird wrinkle. And then later on, like I didn't even follow this the first 3 or 4 days. Oh. And then on the 4th day, I think it came out on the investigation that one of the employees who has access to the whole cards, who's in like the production studio upstairs, it was revealed that night he stole 3 $5,000 chips, $15,000 off of a player stack. So there's 8 or 9 players at the table. And the person stacked that he happened to steal the money off of was hers.
Whoa.
So now people are thinking, wait a second. There's so many things that are weird. He just happens to take chips from her stack. Now they're thinking, is this like a payoff for being in on a scheme?
This is mafia shit, dude.
Now, and then of course, some people are saying, hey, he could just be a thief and that's unrelated. Like, so this whole thing, basically, there's like 75 different smoking guns, but there's not a bloody glove. So that's why this thing's got so much legs and why it's had so much heat is like there's so many weird layers to the story. So many things that are contradictory, but there's no bloody glove yet. So it's just it's like this incredible whodunit. That's
why would they do it on camera? This scheme, like if it's a scheme, which
also,
it seems
I wanted
like
to say, I don't think poker's boring. I was just talking like in her character. Okay, cool.
No. Like poker can be boring.
That's the thing you go too far on. For Gerardo's, all the stuff he said. That's hilarious.
No, poker
You're worried
can be
about
boring.
pissing off poker players?
Yeah. They say poker's like hours of boredom.
That's true. I honestly, I don't think it's boring either. I watched it. For whatever reason, I hate playing it. I do not like poker. But I like watching.
So that's one thing that was weird about it.
You're in the minority there, buddy. Watching it was a huge success. Fucking poker stars.
Oh no, I watched it when I was a kid because I didn't know better.
All right. Enough of that.
Sorry.
This fucking idiot.
I want to see you guys play heads up poker after this.
I don't know. I'll never play poker with anybody ever. I have no interest in losing.
Let's just say the loser bends over, dude.
I don't have enough money to do this, but would you let somebody stake you? Would you let a comedian stake you?
I wouldn't let somebody stay. I mean, a lot of times when people I'll get friends or family, they'll be like, hey, I heard you're going to Vegas. Let me give you $100 and you can get a piece.
That's nothing. I would stake you more than that. I'll give you more than that.
Typically, the only person that would let stake me would be like my peers or like fellow professionals, where if I'm playing like a game that's bigger than I would typically play and I wanted to offload some risk, I would sell a piece of my action to some of my friends who
on the same level as you.
Or better, yeah. I mean, to be honest, part of how I got pretty good at poker is I just got in this really sick group of people that are like super sick at poker, people that were better than me, and they kind of helped raise my game by just being in that crew and being in that fold. So it's kind of cool because they kind of helped build me up, and I kind of like giving back to them. Like, oh, now I'm in a game. If I win money, I give them a cut or whatever.
And when you were watching that video, did any part of you think like if that Garrett guy was Rob Puglisi, he might have hit her?
Oh man, like,
hits
yeah,
women.
yeah, he would have. Rob,
stupid Italian,
would have flew off the handle probably.
right?
Old
It's
Rob
because he's
Pugs.
Italian.
He's Pugs,
you're
man.
right. You're right. I agree. It's because he's Italian.
That's very fair.
So let's watch the clip. I want to, because we've been talking about the clip. Let's see if we can pull it up.
Alrighty.
This is it, right?
This is the very beginning of it. Yeah.
That's not a crime, but except
Maybe skip ahead a little?
the
Yeah, maybe skip a
association
minute
is
ahead,
not
yeah.
super appreciated. Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, there's Blue Eyes.
So my
with the
favorite
hat.
moment was, I think, when
The guy-
Jason
black
Murphy
hat.
first
There
came
he
on the
is, right?
scene, and then you guys played on
How
high stakes
many
poker.
minutes
He
is this
came in
in
like
total?
wearing like
15.
all this like
They're like
really
3 minutes,
weird,
right?
like
'Cause this
he
is
had like
it's on the-
sunglasses
This
on
guy
and, like,
annoyed me a little bit because
He's
he
gonna
kept
bet
like
10,000.
Okay, this is the hand, so maybe go back,
Robbie should have probably been on it.
go back to like 2:30, I would say.
and pause it at
before he
2:30.
won all those
This guy, the Asian guy on the left,
Okay.
he kept talking about like how big a fan he is. He was like, and you know, when you do this, and then you're like, you remember when you were on that thing and all that? It was like Caitlin Jeffers. It was like having her there.
He
you
was
know?
open micing the headliner
It
comic.
was just too much. It was just too much. Remember the time people come up? Remember the time you tweet about how Flappers did this? I'm like, all right, I get it. I get it.
You get that a lot after Mike's at Fourth Wall. Everybody comes up to you like, man,
Yeah, you're right. No, I love every minute.
You're very nice with all the open micers after the mic. You know, I got to give
Well,
you
I
credit.
am an
You know,
open micer.
You're a man of the people. You're
Of
the people's
course.
champ. You know.
I'm a man of the people because I haven't been able to get away from them yet. All I want to do is be successful and go to parties at your amazing house. This guy throws great parties. No, I don't know if you heard the episode where I talked briefly about you and how you're like a untapped resource of friendship. Like people don't know about you and I want to keep you hidden
You were very generous
from
on
the
that.
fucking losers that will kind of get shit from you. I'm like, if I go there and I see certain people, I'm like, God damn it, now they're in.
I think we're gonna have another party, maybe a Chiefs Broncos Sunday Night Football in a few weeks.
Yeah, and none of you are
Gerard, you
invited,
better come.
okay?
I'm down. All right. Fuck it. As long as we don't watch
Here's-
poker, I'll play it.
No.
Here's who's
Watch.
invited: Alan Strickland Williams, Brennan Walsh, Luke Schwartz,
Steve Hernandez.
if he wants to
I would
come.
love Steve to come. He's funny, man. I think he'd kill it.
Julie, obviously, Lisa Chanou. I'm inviting people.
That'd be
to your
great.
house.
I'd love that. Anybody?
Lisa should come.
if they're good with you, they're good with me, man.
Lisa and Scott are a lot of fun. I don't know if we're gonna have Steve there. I'm kidding. But yeah, all right. So yeah, let's go to that.
And so the GOAT, is this the GOAT?
Yeah, so this guy is like the best player of all time. Like he's just crazy good. Like it's
Okay.
incredible.
Tight. All right, here we go.
tournaments and
Yeah, shut the fuck up, guy.
Who's that old white
Wow,
guy?
Robbie really
I'm
mixing
not
it
sure
up
who he
there,
is.
Probably really
calling
good.
Garrett's raise with
Hands.
Jack 4 off. It's blind versus blind, and Garrett here has flopped a straight
Garrett's
flush
not
draw.
doing
10,
anything
10,
that's
9
out
with
of
a
the
couple
ordinary.
clubs.
Yeah, look at Garrett, 813,000 stack.
That's a lot of money, though.
It's a lot of cheddar.
Wow, and Robbie's going to call here with Jack 4 with the Jack of clubs. Turn is 8-3, puts it back to her hearts down. And this is usually when Garrett will lay the hammer down
Hey,
with combo draws.
Garrett's got a hammer. Didn't know that.
He's going to bet 10,000. And I think Robbie should have probably been out of his hand pre-flop.
Did you move that cursor? It's blocking that.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
She's got one club and one heart. And wow, look at this.
If I fall asleep, just wake me up.
Thinking about here? She's going to raise it. Well, we saw her raise Ace King a little bit ago for a min
he's
raise.
thinking,
Here
he's
she's
like-
going to min
he's like,
click.
She's got aces.
Jack
But isn't
4.
pause it for a second?
And you know
Yeah.
Garrett is
Isn't he kind of thinking like, okay, that's crazy that she did that, but fuck yeah, right?
I mean, he doesn't know what she has. So I
Right,
mean,
okay.
if a normal poker player could be like, "Oh crap, she must have. Maybe she has 3 10s. She has trips, or maybe she's got a full house." You know, like a normal person or any kind of poker player could like be fearful that she has some kind of hand. But Garrett's really, really good at like sussing, like figuring stuff out, and he kind of figured that she probably doesn't have a 10 or like a strong hand here because she min raised. So like a lot of times if you have like a 3 10s here, you're going to want to raise bigger because there's like there's a club flush draw, there's a heart flush draw, there's a lot of straight draws. So you might want to like raise bigger to protect your hand. So I think he might have thought she was just monkeying around with a kind of a weird small raise size. And he also realizes that since he has this open end straight flush draw, even if she does have trip 10s or some kind of good hand, he has a lot of outs to make a better hand.
Now, let me ask you one more question. All right. So they're at the Hustler Casino. Do we know where that is in California? Did we figure that out?
I think it's like off of Redondo. It's like Redondo Beach.
Redondo Beach?
It's like not a great area. It's like it's
where is the bike?
the bike is in Bell Gardens.
Okay. So the Bell Gardens. So the bike is So if this were taking place at the bike, you would be playing against like homeless people and Caitlin Jeffers and like Isaac Hirsch.
Not this. I mean, the barrier to entry. I mean, this is like it's not easy to get in these games. Like,
which much different than a bike.
Yeah, like this is different. Like the casino, there's like games where everybody can go get in a seat.
Right.
Like you have this is like
someone could be high at meth.
This is gated poker. Like you have to have access. You have to get permission to play in this game. Like a lot of pros want to play in this game, but they get shut out.
You can't do this game if you just performed at the what's that plate? The improv thing, John's. What is it called? The thing at John's in Vermont. Damn, I botched it. It would be funny if I could remember.
Marty's?
I was going to say Marty's too, but I know that's not what it is.
No, that Marty's stupid improv thing. The clubhouse. You can't, they don't let you.
Skip town class.
Yeah, let's rest in peace, Brendan.
Rest in peace, that horrible bomb. All right, let's go back to
It's just so experienced.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me scratch my face. That's the shit I got.
Like, what's that mean?
How often would you use the 10? Could he
I don't know why
possibly
people
bet
like
3
this
bet
chick
here?
so much. Or
I
find her
scratched my face
interesting.
because that's the shit I got. Is like such a weird.
I don't have anything against her, but she looks like everyone else.
Fair.
She looks like she spends a lot of time in the bathroom.
You gotta take this class.
I don't know what that means, but I'll go. Yeah, sure. Does her belt say USC?
If he calls, he could be about 2
it
pots
looks like
like
some
that's
kind of Greek
left.
design.
So, I mean, that's what's got to be going through his head here. I think he's considering bet 3 betting, and yep, there's the all in. There's the all
Dude,
in.
he goes all in like so like.
Garrett, like I said, he's just
it
so
doesn't matter.
Cavalier, yeah.
Experienced
Low
in
key.
bet patterns.
So now it's different. You know, now it's like she has to call. She's no longer bluffing. You know, now it's about I have to have a hand that's going to win, which is hard to think Jack High is going to be that a hand that's going to win.
Sort of acted a little bit with Jack 8 of diamonds from a few rounds ago.
It's like you lose to Queen High, you lose to King High, you lose to Ace High. I mean, you lose to everything basically. I mean, it's
just going to put a time chip out.
What is a time chip?
You have a certain amount of time to act.
She said that she thought.
So then you get like a certain amount of time chips, so you can get extensions. It's like a timeout basically.
Since
this is a stream, you have to like play kind of fast. You know.
And she took some time with it, and then she said,
I just want to call to see it. I think he might have me though. 3's no good?
And this is a controversial thing. People say, did she think she had a 3? Did she misread her hand?
She doesn't have a 3.
Yeah, she doesn't have a 3. And she's gone back and forth on, I thought I had a 3. I didn't. Like, she's said multiple stories of this after this.
I don't know what she is thinking about here because she loses to some bluffs like King, Queen, Queen, Jack types of things.
Just say she looks like she goes to Dubai for free.
Yeah.
She calls?
For once, but it's up to you.
This guy's freaking out.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy to see. I mean, if you're just like, what?
He's laughing.
So far, so good.
She calls? What is going on here?
For once, but it's up to you.
That sounds like if Ian Russo doesn't go up when he wants to.
We've hit our Ian Russo limit.
Is it possible that
Who else do we talk
misread
about?
in the card graphics or something?
That's what Vince Caldera thinks he looks like with his glasses.
Yikes.
So Supreme shit. That'd be so funny if Vince was at the table all Supreme stuff.
What? No.
This guy has so much money. Did he just raise his Supreme sweater?
This is a pure bluff catcher.
With Jack High?
But
This kind of money could save James Fritz's whole entire Kentucky family from the flood. From the flood. It sounds like they're all
Go to the
laughing.
river. The river is a 9.
That one's you for sure.
They're gonna run it
Unless you have, like,
twice.
pocket five
I
or
don't think
something.
so.
She's
You have,
gonna.
like, small pair?
You give me that much credit?
I don't know.
Haven't you seen what
She
I've
she
done?
knows she doesn't
the
have friends.
first one.
Yeah, people have dissected this so many times, but then she's later said she's had so many different stories. It's hard to like. But yeah,
If
She
the cards
doesn't
are
seem
correct.
truthful. I don't know.
She just looks like she's having fun.
And the river
just seems like an
breaks out
Instagram
again.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait, why was there 2 rivers?
okay.
Does he know he lost?
So that's called running it twice. It's a thing that maybe it's a little newer, but it happens more at higher stakes because the pots are bigger. But basically, you can run it twice, and the pot is split in for half for one run out, half for the other run out. So basically, it'd be like if me and you want to flip a coin, heads or tails, I'd be like, hey, you want to flip a coin heads or tails for 10 grand, or we can do 2 coin flips for 5 grand and 5 grand.
Yeah.
Basically just spreads out the risk. It makes it less risky. Doesn't change the equity in the hand. Tails is still 50%, heads is still 50%. So whatever your percentage is in the hand doesn't really change.
So when did they decide to do that?
They both came once you're all in, if both people agree, you can run it twice. If you want to say F you on one or once, then that's once. But if both people agree.
So the winner decides, basically.
Not the winner. Before the action
Obviously,
happens.
the loser's going to want to run it twice. But the
You mean the person that's behind at the moment? Or behind in the hand at the moment. Yeah, because just because you're behind, you might end up winning. But typically some people think it's like a favor. Like, if you're like a fish, you're not that good at poker, like, oh, thanks for letting me run it twice. But it's not really like a favor. Like I said, it doesn't change. You're not getting a bigger equity on your flush draw. Like the odds are the odds. It just basically makes it like, it just smooths out the variance basically.
That was weird. I never saw that.
Yeah. That's like a higher stakes thing that,
Does he know that he lost yet?
Yeah, he definitely, because he has 8 high.
So he's just laughing off.
Yeah, he's just like, oh my God, like I did this crazy semi bluff with like, a straight flush draw. Unfortunately, I ran into a hand. He's probably thinking she's going to turn over a 10 or a 9.
I mean, gun in mouth, I lose $800,000, right?
He's
almost
up
immediately.
He's up like 2 or 3 million on this show.
I don't care. I lose $800,000. It's gonna be like that scene in what's that movie, the New Hampshire, where the guy's like he takes the gun out and they try and wrestle it. Casey Affleck. He's like, let me do it.
But that's kind of a skill as a poker player. Is
Manchester by the Sea.
I would Manchester by my sea.
By my sea.
I would Manchester by the sea myself so quickly in that black shirt, the blood everywhere,
Just
blood,
KMSing.
brains flying out. Like
Yeah, no, this is old hat to him. This is just like, somebody spilling a drink during your set. Like he's not fazed by this really.
Gerardo would Manchester himself by the sea over a bad fourth wall set.
Oh, yeah. But if Chipotle's bad.
Yeah, if Chipotle. If they forget to put white rice instead of brown rice, he will Manchester by the sea, the employees.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So yeah, he's expecting to see a 10 or a 9 here, and then when he sees what she has, like literally you can see it, like it looks like he saw a ghost. He's just like, what? Like,
because the jack beat is higher than all the other cards, and it wins.
Well, yeah, but he's just like, I put you all. How do you call 109,000 with a hand that can't even beat hands I'm bluffing with? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you call 109,000 with jack high? Like it's just when you see that as a pro, you're gonna be like, you're gonna have. I mean, you have no other reason.
Nobody does that.
Nobody would ever call 109,000 more with a jack high.
Was she a big blind?
They were in the blinds, yeah. But I mean, like the action after the flop.
Because why would you call a blind on a jack 4 non-suited?
You could even say that, but yeah, sure. You could say, why even see the flop? Why even call the flop? But you know what? It's poker. It's an entertainment show. Sometimes people want to play a little loose and crazy. Like I said, maybe you could argue that she just called on the flop.
Gerardo, you know what else? She has a fucking twin.
She has an identical. There's so many layers. Like, I don't know how long we want to go on this, but like, there's like so many. Like we haven't. That
might not even be her.
We haven't even scratched the surface on like all the peculiarities of this situation.
Who's her twin married to? Do we know?
I'm not sure who her twin's married to. They've done so much investigation on it. They found a reality TV show she was on like a 2009. It was called like The Fall Down. Like Chris Jericho was the host or something like some.
Damn, she's fucking Chris Jericho.
So they pulled up a tape of her on some reality show like 10 years ago. Like the deep dive on this has been immense. Like
back in the
crazy.
90s, you sucked my dick for a spot at the Yoho room.
So yeah, you'll see a look on his face. He like legit sees a ghost.
Oh no!
Jack high?
What?
Whoa!
Look at
now he's mad.
What the fuck?
Whoa, look at Garrett's
still,
face.
like,
That is.
He's not acting backwards.
That was sick.
He just looks mad.
Yeah, they're just telling by his facial reactions in his eyes.
Anybody would be mad.
Super strange.
Anybody
you can
would
see
be
his
mad.
reaction. Like, what?
He's probably going through the steps of, the 7 steps of grief or whatever.
But with a poker face.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to get across is he's lost numerous hands on this stream for way more money than that.
Oh, really?
Just for context.
Oh, okay.
So this is not
good to know.
This is a normal. Like he's played pots this big many times, and he's
But
lost.
he just knows she's cheating.
Yeah, that's why he has
Or
that
thinks.
weird irk because he's like, I had to have been cheated.
Yeah.
She had to have known what I had. How could you call a jack high unless you know what I have?
Right.
I'm speechless.
And
It's like, usually Garrett
$110,000. I mean, it's
fairly congratulatory.
Because he's a millionaire from poker.
Yes.
Like that, but
He has a blocker to the straight.
he seems somewhat disturbed here by
when they
What just
say that he's like sexist or whatever, I don't get that because he doesn't even say anything.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like the reason they're getting that is because I think in one of her early tweets, she made it sound like, oh, he pulled me to the side and he intimidated me. He coerced me into giving the money. That's where that's coming from. And then of course, you know, a lot of people do the tweets like, oh, a woman beats a guy in poker, so she must have cheated. Like that's an easy thing to run with.
He thinks that she saw his hand.
But obviously, if you like know about poker and you actually have domain expertise in this, and you have experience and you have context,
right,
you don't have that take. But if you're on Twitter, you know it's an easy, quick thing to say. Oh,
sure,
girl beats guy in hand, guy's mad. You know, it's an easy thing to just do a dunk on. But
yeah, that makes sense.
But to be honest, if it was a guy in the hand, he would have got reamed, I think. But since she was a woman, I think a lot of people were like kind of defending her more or like a little less.
What do you mean reamed? Like they would have said he's cheating for sure?
Yeah, they're like, how the fuck? They would call the guy an idiot. They would have called him a donkey. They would have called him like every name in the book. They would all, he must have been cheating.
Yeah, that's the number one insult in poker is donkey.
A donkey, a fish.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes sense. You know, that's why.
A donk.
Yeah. You know, that's why I use
I think that was referenced on this pot, like one episode, maybe.
I say the reason that I say that, and I may have talked about this on the pod before, but I used to listen to this show, this morning show called The Sports Junkies in DC.
Okay.
And they're a big poker group. So all of their slang is from poker.
Sure.
So like if you're a donk, you're an idiot. If you're felted, you have no more money left. If you're being Rick, you're being angry or a jerk. What else is there? Siced, and Siced is when you like something. If you're a big silly, you have a lot of money.
These are regional references then, because I know all the poker references. I haven't heard a few.
What about tilt?
That's a very universal comment. Yeah, tilt.
Yeah, so if you're tilted,
I'm tilted. I'm on tilt. Yeah,
on tilt or super monkey tilt.
Yeah, monkey tilt. Yeah, monkey tilt's the
butt sized. Yeah, we all know butt size. You don't know.
I don't know that one.
That means excited.
Yeah, you're really into it if you're sized for it.
Okay, all right.
Specifically in the butt.
All right.
What else? What else is there? But tilt, I love saying tilt. Like somebody tilted me or whatever.
It's pretty
tilting.
Comedy can be very tilting too.
It's
like comedy's only tilting pretty much.
There's so many parallels with comedy and poker and game. Like it's incredible.
You know, it was on James Fritz is on tilt a lot, and I always felt it.
You know, like in LA, we say HLP for Highland Park.
Okay.
ALH.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Can you fire
when you say that, I'm like, what stock are we talking about? What stock symbol is that?
Nobody says HLP. I've never heard anyone say that. Where did you hear that?
From a friend of mine.
Who?
This guy that I drove in an Uber a long time ago.
I frequent Highland Park a lot. I've never heard that.
Improve, like, what's the saying? Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but I've never heard HLP.
Well, just, leave a comment below.
Maybe HP. Maybe.
HP's Huntington Park. That's what I told.
It's HP's Huntington Park.
I don't know. He's from Virginia. I'm from Kansas. So what do we know, right? You're a Cali guy, right?
What do we know?
You get to pull rank, right?
No, I've lived 10 minutes from Highland Park for like 6 years.
The guy from Virginia and Kansas is telling you how to talk about Cali, eh?
Oh, you shut up, you
work,
fucking Midwestern jerk off.
Now I'm being all Midwestern and trying to be nice.
Yeah. Shut up. So then does anything else happen in that clip, or is it just pretty much
that's the gist of it pretty much, yeah. So like after that hand happens, I guess apparently they pulled her to the side, or Garrett pulled her to the side. Nobody knows what he said yet. Nobody knows like if she was exaggerating, like, you know, did he pressure me? Like I think she's kind of since walked that back once people have asked her for more details, like did he push you? Did he brush your shoulder? Like what did he say? Like it doesn't seem like, you know, but the area that he asked her for is like a darkly lit area, like in the corner, like to the side of the stage. So I guess you could say like the environment might have been a little intimidating just because it's like a dark kind of secluded room in a corner. But like, I don't think Garrett did anything. Like I doubt he.
Well, who knows?
Yeah,
I have
nobody
no
knows.
idea.
But anyhow, she ends up giving him the money back. And which is an odd wrinkle because people are like, why would you give the money back? Like if you didn't cheat, like logically people think like if somebody accuses you of cheating, that's like those fighting words. Like that's like the worst thing you could say to somebody, especially as like a gambler or a poker player. So the fact that somebody could say something like that to you and then your response is like, oh, well, here's the money back because I like production. Like
because I'm a big fan of the show.
Yeah, to a lot of people that kind of comes off like, but maybe there's a world where that's how she honestly feels. Like it's possible. I mean, it's not, you know. We're not mind readers, but it seems very counter to how you would expect somebody to act when being accused of cheating.
Yeah, that's crazy. So where is it at now? She gave him the money back.
So that was a thing. And then 3 or 4 days later, I can't remember now if I mentioned this earlier in the pod, but yeah, a guy that had access to the whole cards, a guy that worked in production took money off her stacks. Now people are like, oh, that's really odd.
So what happened to him?
And not only that, she didn't press charges. So now people are thinking, what? She gives the money back after being accused of cheated, but she said she didn't cheat. A guy steals from her. And this is so weird. Like she's being on one hand, she's being accused of cheated. And then on the other hand, she got stolen from. Right. So this is like a weird, convoluted, all kinds of stuff going on. She gets stolen from. She doesn't prosecute. She doesn't try to prosecute the person stealing from her. So some people think like that's kind of odd. She says the reason she didn't is because at the time the officers told her that he didn't have any priors. So that's why she didn't. To which some people would say, who cares? But that was her reasoning is, well, he didn't have any priors. He was a young guy. So I figured I'd give him a break. Like, and that was the gist of her thing. Now it came out later, apparently, that he had a pretty extensive rap sheet and he had a lot of issues.
That's the thing where they're saying but it's weird that the casino hired a criminal, right?
Now that's the thing. He's not working for the casino. He's working for High Stakes Poker Productions or the Hustler Casino Live. So
and
he's
they didn't
working.
do a production. They didn't do a background check.
I guess not. As far as I'm aware, yes. So that's a whole weird thing. And then so another weird wrinkle is. In her DM, she released. Now, so this is so weird. All these people that are involved in the story are coming on this daily Joey Ingram investigation stream. So it's so weird. It's like these people are being accused. They're going on this viral stream in real time, telling their story. So like it's everybody.
She went on,
huh?
She's
gone on like 5 times. She like loves it. Like she's on. She's like, yeah. It's like she's eating it up. Like she tweets before, like about to have a bottle of wine before I go on the stream. Like she's like, yeah. It's like she's going on. She's like this. She's on all these investigation streams, telling her side of the story.
She wants a TV show, probably.
Who knows? But it's very odd. So, but that's what she said. Like, I didn't want to press charges. Then the whole thing came out about him. Now, supposedly, she's going to press charges. I don't know if she actually did or not. But so that's
Did the Jake Paul guy go on the stream?
Yeah, he's came on. Rips came on. That's what's so entertaining about these streams. All these people implicated are just like hopping on the stream, like telling like their side or what their theories are. It's
Dude,
like
their lawyers are probably freaking out.
They're
crazy.
Like,
what the fuck are you doing?
And that's what's weird. Her husband's a lawyer, and she's going on this every night like popcorn. It's like it's so like nothing makes sense in this.
Dude,
There's so
that
many
guy
things.
fucked up. That guy that married her, he's probably so pissed off. Although if you're a lawyer and you do crypto and Bitcoin and all that stuff, that's a little bit, I don't know. I don't know if it's like most lawyers wouldn't, I don't think, do that. But what do I know?
I think if you're a smart lawyer, you would know like, oh, this is an emerging space. This is an emerging market. I can kind of be one of the first people that get in this and I can get a foothold.
I don't think lawyers like dealing with like taxes and shit like that. Maybe tax lawyers do.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
A lot of people have a lot of money from crypto. So a lot of lawyers see that as an opportunity to get money from those type of people. So
I guess.
Especially young kids that are naive and like there's a lot of opportunities for making money. I think if you're a lawyer in crypto.
These lawyers, you're talking about yourself, you crypto man.
So anyhow, that was a weird thing. After that chips thing happened, Robbie releases a DM that supposedly Brian sends to her. And
who's Brian?
The guy. I'm sorry, Brian is the employee who stole the $15,000 of chips off of her stack. And the gist of the Twitter DM is like, hey, I'm Brian. I'm the kid that stole chips off your stack. I'm so sorry. I need money. I'm in a pinch. Like, you're so kind. Like, basically, he like gives her all these compliments, talks her up. Like, you're such a kind, nice person. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it by it. I'm in a tough spot. I've got a kid. My parents did meth. Like, this big sob story. But what the interesting wrinkle about this is, in this note, it said, couldn't not. And a few days earlier, Robbie on some tweets had said, couldn't not. So now there's this weird like double negative in the DM supposedly sent from Brian to Robbie where it says couldn't not, which is like a weird thing to say. And then a couple days prior, Robbie had used that exact same verbiage, like couldn't not. So now people are like, did Robbie write this letter to herself, but like acting like it's from Brian? Because like when people read the letter, like, is this to be believed? And then when people that were like deep diving this discovered the couldn't not thing, that added a whole new weird wrinkle. Like, wait, this couldn't not. She said it, and then now this Brian guy says couldn't not as well.
That's her signature, dude.
So there's like
that's like a pretty weird thing to write in an apology. Couldn't not. Yeah. You wouldn't write that in an apology.
So that's just like one. That's like a classic example of like there's so many weird peculiarities in this like case and story, and that's just like one little nugget of it. And then she has an identical twin, which like that's kind of odd. There's so many things.
Has the twin gone on any of the streams?
Not that I don't think so. I don't think she's gone on. The next one is tomorrow. There's Joey Ingram's doing a stream stream tomorrow on Tuesday. He hasn't done one in a couple of days. Like, I don't even think the kid
He's
slept.
dead. Somebody killed
He's
him.
doing like 10-hour straight. Like, it's crazy. But he's getting like, the stream gets like 100,000 views. Like, literally, he starts a stream like at 9 or 10 o'clock in Vegas. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, at 4 a.m, there's like 5,000 people watching live. And then like a day later, it has like 100,000 views, which is pretty impressive because he's issued like 11 of these. Like, every one of these 11 investigation streams has like 90 to 120,000 views. And then like I said, at like 3 a.m, 4 a.m, there's like 4,000 or 5,000 people actively watching it at like 3 a.m. Like, anybody that gambles or plays poker for a living is just like all in on following this. Like, it's turned into like this crazy whodunit. Now it's like the LA Times has done 2 stories on it.
Yeah, you showed me that too.
It's getting, I think, like, and also part of the context of this is there was a cheating scandal in poker that happened on a stream like a year ago. This guy named Mike Postle. And it happened at Stone's Casino in Northern California. And that story got on like ESPN, Scott Van Pelt Sports Center, which is like the most watched sports center. Scott Van Pelt, he did like a 5-minute feature on the Mike Postle cheating scandal. So I'm thinking this stuff is because this story is way more interesting than the previous poker cheat. But that's also part of the context of this is the poker community had just seen cheating going on in a stream.
Is that guy in jail, Postle?
He's not in jail because they couldn't like prove it in court. And the people at the casino were like very secretive about like not giving away information and being very protective about it. The stream has since been shut down. And what's so funny about this is this guy, this Mike Postle guy, is basically just winning every hand. It's in like God mode on the stream. But yet he doesn't play big anytime else. He never plays similar size stakes. He's never playing big, but he's on the stream just dunking on everybody, just playing perfectly. But yet you don't see him play anywhere else. It's
so he
weird.
kept the money then.
Of course, yeah. And of course, I think they couldn't prove it, but there's like a funny poker meme term. It's called crotch theory optimal because when you watch the stream, he keeps looking down at his crotch because I think that's where he was getting like a signal from his phone or something, but he keeps looking down at his crotch. So now people say crotch theory optimal in poker is like a funny term. But yeah, this old guy was just destroying everybody playing perfect on the stream, and it turned into like a big investigation, and it's like he cheated, but he didn't go to jail basically. Like, he's effectively cheated. Like, it's effectively been like proven, like nobody in poker thinks he didn't.
Yeah, this is like going to be a
They couldn't
movie.
prosecute him in a court of law because there wasn't like a bloody glove. They didn't have like a exact.
That sounds
thing.
like a movie. This other thing sounds like a movie. They made that Molly's Game movie. That was like a movie or whatever.
So that's a little context. There's a previous thing that kind of leads into this that is a little bit of the story too.
So basically, Mike Postle is Molly.
No, Molly runs a home game operator at everybody.
What did Mike Postle do?
So Mike Postle is this older guy that has been accused of cheating in this stream at the Stone's Casino. This happened like a year or 2 ago.
But what
and that got on ESPN Sports Center.
But what did he do though? That's what I'm saying.
He won basically every hand he played and just destroyed the stream, like played absolutely perfect. And then when people kept going back in the tape, they kept seeing that he kept looking down at his crotch.
So it's just theory that he was cheating.
Yes, but it's like the preponderance of all the evidence. It's like very, very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Very, very overwhelming.
Yeah.
But they couldn't prove it in a court of law. And the casino that was housing the stream basically was super secret. They didn't like give away any information. They weren't like transparent about it at all. They basically just kind of like closed up the shop and they've closed down the stream.
He got on Potluck every Monday. And they had this thing that showed that sometimes he wasn't even emailing on Fridays at 12 to 1 p.m. And he would just be on the list.
Yeah, the collusion in comedy, man. It's
we know what Luke is doing.
Yeah. Shout out Luke Schwartz.
Rig decks everywhere, even in comedy.
They're rigging this shit, bro.
Rigging
the
the deck.
system. You're in such a. Like, do you ever think people are like pulling you and like cheating you and shit?
For sure. I've been tempted. There's so many home games in LA that I've been invited to. And it's like, I basically don't play them because like I don't trust strangers to do the right thing when a lot of money's involved.
Right.
Do you guys ever just play naked or anything?
I haven't done that. I haven't done the strip poker. No.
Well, I mean, just like start naked so nobody cheats.
Oh, that's a fun. I should have went there. I thought I first went with the strip poker angle, but you're saying that to prove there's
now it makes me think you've done strip poker, dude. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, no. So
no is the answer.
No, I haven't done. So like, I don't play in these home games because I don't trust that's on the up and up. And then it's it's like an unregulated environment. So there's like basically you could just like a license to print money if you wanted to like run an illegal home game where there's cheating.
Right.
There's no safeguards. There's no regulating party. And I just don't trust strangers to do the right thing when that much money is involved. And then like as a professional too, like I'm always going to get called in the game when it sucks. When the game's really good, I'm not going to get called. If the whale or some fish doesn't pay up, I'm going to be the last person to get paid because I'm a pro. I'm like lowest on the totem pole. It's kind of funny because like as a pro, you don't you kind of get mad you don't get invited to games, but then when you do get invited, you're like, wait, why are they inviting me? Something's up. It's kind of funny, but like
double-edged sword.
Yeah, so it's like, but I don't play in home games for the most part unless I know the person that runs it. Like I do play in one home game in LA because I know the guy who runs it. He's like an unbelievably successful person in professional sports. So like, I don't think he has any reason to cheat. I trust him implicitly. So whenever I'm allowed to play in his game, I play in his game. But aside from that game, like I don't really play in home games because it's just too easy to get cheated. And it sucks because as a professional, I have to play at the casinos. And now the casino games are like way harder to beat and they're way tougher because all the recreational players and all the fish would rather play in a home game because they can do coke off a chick's tit, and fucking play poker. You can't do that at the casino.
Because they don't have enough cocaine?
No, because the Indians are like, that's the devil.
So it kind of sucks because like all these fish, all these recreational players, they're basically playing all these home games where you very likely could be getting cheated. And even if you're not getting cheated, the rake that they take out of the pot is so much. A rake is basically like the tax you pay to play in a hand. Like in a home game, there could be like a $2,000 pot. They're taking like $300 out of the hand. It's crazy. Like you basically can't beat it in the long run. Like they rake so much money, you could be getting cheated. So I don't play it, but it sucks for the professionals because now the games at the casinos suck because a lot of the recreational players, they don't know any better. They're just degen gamblers. So they go to a home game thinking, oh, it's fun. The chicks are hot and like whatever.
I'm curious about
scammed,
that.
like all the time.
I'm curious about that. So are you saying that at these home games, people go and do coke off like tits and stuff?
Have
you seen this?
I'm saying that a bit for effect, but it's happened. Like a lot of these home games, like I don't play a ton of them, but I played enough. Like every home game has like at least 4 good-looking young girls.
Look, your girlfriend is not going to watch this. There's no way she'll ever see this. I'm not going to ask you if you've done it. But these girls give you massages?
Yes, like so. There's every home game. There's basically a lot of like young girls that work at the game. Maybe some aren't, but they're all usually pretty attractive. They usually are dressed fairly, seductively, and they basically they are available to give massages at the table. They give drinks. They'll bring you food. Like there's always a chef at the games. So like they have some chef that makes fancy food, and like one of the girls will come over and bring you food. It's kind of expected that you're going to give them a tip. And then a lot of the guys also will hire them for like an hour or 2 hour massage. Well, they'll get like $200, $300, $500 just to rub on some old dude's shoulders.
Wait, a massage that's like away from the table?
No, at the table while they're playing.
I wouldn't want to do that.
But yeah, and then of course sometimes you'll see, I haven't seen.
That's weird.
And then the car sometimes like, I haven't seen so and so in a while. Where you can connect whatever dots you may want. But that's basically like home game cultures. There's always girls there. They're giving guys massages. They're giving you drinks and food, and they're making crazy good money off this. And some of the games, it's pretty like actually Paul Pierce actually recently lost his job at ESPN because on Instagram or Twitter he was like posting a video at a home game. Yeah. And it was showing all these girls kind of seductively doing stuff, and when ESPN canned them because it was like bad for their image. Yeah. So like that's actually kind of, I'm glad I thought of that in real time.
Sense. ESPN has a lot of scandals like that on their own before that shit.
So Paul Pierce got canned because he plays a lot of the home games in LA, and I guess he posted a video and like ESPN's like, dog, you can't be.
Why are you trying to look cool, Paul Pierce? You've already made it. Everyone already thought you were cool.
So home games are like a very odd environment where a lot of shenanigans go on. So I pretty much avoid it.
He went from getting chips to getting cheap.
But the reason people think cheating could happen in this game is because in the stream game, there's a production where they can see the hole cards. So basically what some people think could happen is, like, hey, somebody has access to these hole cards. Somebody that's at the table could have some kind of device or something where they're getting communication of like, oh, two buzzes means you're beat. One buzz means you're good.
What have you ever done?
So like there's ways where you could cheat. Basically, the reason these stream games are at risk is because there's always somebody who has access to the hole cards in real time. And if there's any way they're communicating to players at the table, it's a fucking big problem. So whenever a hand like this goes down where somebody calls 110 grand with jack high, people are thinking, well, how could you do that? So now people think, I wonder if she was getting a signal from somebody. I wonder if...
What did the Rich Paul, or I'm calling
Jake
him
Paul's guy or whatever,
what did he say the reason was that he played while staking the same person?
Well, according to his story, he said he wasn't even supposed to play that day.
But he did play.
Yeah, but he did.
Right.
But so I forgot what all he said in his interview on Joey Ingram's podcast, I forgot.
Okay.
I forgot exactly.
Question. Yeah. At these home games, have you ever thought of like doing a Sopranos type thing where like, I come in with a shotgun and like, I'm like, put your fucking hands in the air, you old fuckers?
Absolutely not. Like, no, that's like home. That's another reason I don't play home games is they get robbed. They get robbed. So like I've had 3 friends get robbed or pulled I've had a friend get shot at. I've had a friend get pistol whipped. I've had a friend get robbed where somebody brandished a gun. Like it's, as a poker player. One happened at a casino where they got followed into their hotel room. Somebody knocked on the door. They opened the door like idiots and then they got robbed. Yeah. Another one was a guy, one of my buddies was, because when you're playing, like my buddy was playing big down in Houston at these new card rooms that are just now legal. It's like a new burgeoning market down there. They're allowing card casino poker in Texas now, but he plays really big. So he had like 50, 60 grand on him. So if somebody sees you, they go, hey, this kid's got 50 grand on him. He's leaving at some point. When this motherfucker leaves, I know who's got 50 grand. So he got rear-ended, pulled over. Somebody approached the car, pulled a gun on him. He fucking, in a moment of panic, floored the fucking car and he got shot at as he was driving away. And it's kind of ironic because the guy, at the time, the guy was like big pun. He was like a really big guy. He was like 400 pounds. He didn't get hit.
Damn.
Since then, the guy's lost like 150. And now he's only like, he's lost a lot of weight. And he's kind of, I'm really happy for him. But it was kind of ironic. He got shot at though. And and then my other friend, who back in Kansas City, there was a big game every Wednesday night. So I think if you're a crook, everybody says, hey, every Wednesday night, there's a big game, a lot of money on the table.
Yeah.
One other person had got robbed previously. So my friend was already kind of aware of to have his antennas up. So he said when he was driving home, he said nobody was following him. Because he was like, I was looking in my rearview mirror. Nobody followed me home. Yeah. As soon as my friend got out the car, somebody was on him right there, put a gun to his head, pistol whipped him, robbed him of, he had, it's kind of funny. Thankfully, he lost that night. he took like 10 grand to the casino. He lost 4 grand. So he got robbed at 6. So it's obviously kind of funny if he would have won, then you got that robbed.
I mean,
so
it kind of sucks.
So it's a good act to lose money if you're going to get robbed. Like, oh shit, the guy got robbed. Like, But anyhow, I'm being a little lighthearted about a very traumatic situation for my friend.
Yeah, that's very.
That was my old roommate who played poker for a living. He hasn't played poker since, ironically enough. Damn. He has not played poker since. But yeah, it's scary. Like that's why like when I was like purposely living in like downtown high-rise apartments because I was like, I want to have a secured parking. If I get followed, like I don't want, like I was very aware of that. Like that's important.
That's why I do open mics because like they don't have, no one has any money. Like some of these comedians don't even own pockets. They don't have shirt like pants with pockets on them. That's how poor they are.
Thankfully, when I play at the casino, I have a safety deposit box. So when I get done playing
at the casino,
I go to my box. I'll empty my box. So that what's the combination? I have like a key. So you have to have my key and my ID to get in my safety.
And they do the eye thing, right? They scan your.
They don't
eyes.
have that good of technology yet. I guess I will say that.
That's some lame shit.
Oh yeah. So so there's some measures to limit your risk as a pro not getting robbed, but you're always a target because you're always walking around with a lot of money on you.
But and you
like I gotta go to work with a lot of money on me. Like a lot of people's job, you just show up to work with your head and your body. For a poker player, you have to show up to work with a lot of money, a lot of chips.
Let me tell you something about Adam, though, viewers. You're thinking you're gonna get him. He might be wearing a bulletproof vest.
I might be carrying.
He might be carrying a gun. He might have more than one gun.
I might be holding.
Eric Rocha might be with him. Eric Rocha carries 6 guns.
Or Mike Sasson, D-tackle.
Mike Sasson is just a huge motherfucker. He could shoot him a few times.
Division One nose tackle for UConn Huskies.
He played for the Huskies.
So
big
Mike Sasson. Player. Shout out to Mike Sasson.
So what do you think? What is your final conclusion here? Do you think
my thing? I would say in WhatsApp groups and stuff. Obviously, I'm never going to go on Twitter or any public thing and accuse somebody of cheating or stealing because that's a bold accusation with a lot of implications, and I would never want to say anything that would implicate somebody in that way in public without there being any proof. And as of right now, there's not any proof. There's not a bloody glove. There's not anything. All there is about 97 things that are very weird.
Right.
That's all there is right now. So I would not go on the record on public saying so-and-so cheated. But if I was in a private WhatsApp group or I was having a private conversation with somebody after fourth wall and they asked me, like if you said you have to circle yes or no, I would probably, if forced, I would probably have to circle probably yes, I think.
Right.
That's what's so funny about this. Like at points at this, I would say I would have circled no. At other points, I would circle. Like I've gone back and forth. Yeah. Like my opinion might be different tomorrow. Like it's like there's been so many things that have come out, but I would not go publicly because there's not a bloody glove yet. But there's just so many things that look so weird. It's just hard to think that something's not afoot.
Yeah, I wanted to have a male feminist on the podcast to get their opinion. But couldn't get King Gar on.
Yeah,
but Louis Lemus on. But I don't know. I don't trust her purely based out of her connection with Jake Paul, the Jake Paul guy. I'm serious. Like that guy seems like a scam artist.
And there's another story where there's this lady named Julie Yorn, who's like a Hollywood producer lady who plays in these big games. She's like a lot of people in Hollywood and stuff, like famous people who play high stakes because just being in LA, you meet a lot of people. So she's a super nice lady. She plays big games a lot. She's got a great reputation. Nobody says anything bad about Julie, but she called in on this, and she called in one of these investigation streams and say, hey, I feel like I got to say something. I did play with her 2 nights prior to this incident, and it was very weird. She came into the game. She bought in for 5,000, but she didn't have 5,000 exactly on her. So she was like credited with 5,000 before she actually produced it, which typically wouldn't happen in a normal casino game. But the bigger stakes you play, kind of more casual stuff is, somebody, she's good for it. There's kind of like a built-in trust once you play at a certain level for certain stakes. So she was basically floated 5K on the finger, just thinking like, all right, she's going to produce the money here in a minute or 2 minutes or whatever. As it turns out, she ends up doubling up in the hand. So she doubles her money. She doesn't even have chips yet. So she doubles up her money. She wins it all in. And then like hands go by, and this Julie lady somebody says like, hey, she never put the 5,000 on. She never put the seed money on. Where's the original money?
Yeah.
I was like, that's a huge no-no in poker. Like you can't buy in for fake money. Like you got to, if you're saying I'm in for 5K, you can't play a hand for 5K and then not produce that. That's called a free roll basically. What if you would have lost?
Yeah.
You got to put,
you have to pay later.
So it's just like, you can't really do that, which is why if you're running your thing super, you would never even let that happen just so that situation couldn't happen.
It would never happen at the bike. Yeah. They're never like one of those homeless mathematics.
So Julia was like, wow, how come she's not putting the money on the table? Like, this is weird. And then like a lot of time went by. And then I think I'm just going to say allegedly before I protect myself. But as I remember, she asked her, are you going to put the money on the table? And I believe Robbie said no. And people were like, you can't do that. Like, that's not, you got to like put money on the table. And then I think, as I remember, she eventually like scraggled together the $5,000, but it was like a bit of a struggle, as Julie said. And it seemed like it was something that she only did because her feet were held to the fire.
Okay.
So like once I saw like the Brian stole chips off her stack, like of all stacks, it happens to be her stack. And then when I heard this story about her kind of pulling what you would call an angle.
Yeah.
A couple nights prior, I'm like, that's kind of suspect behavior to like buy in for money, but then not have it. And then you're not trying to put on the table, which you should. Like, it's just very weird. And all of her player history, like people looked up her like database of tournaments she'd played. They're like $100 tournaments, $300 tournaments.
So she's played smaller things.
Yeah. And this Julie lady, cause she's like, oh, there's not many women in poker. I was trying to befriend her. And I was like, I guess she was watching her play. She's like, man, you're not worried about playing against Phil Ivey tomorrow for $100,000? Cause she was playing for like $5,000. And I guess she had like a hard time getting the $5,000 even together to play in that game. So Julie's like, are you sure you want to play with Phil Ivey for $100,000? Like, that seems kind of odd. Right. So she was kind of trying to look out for her, like, you sure you want to do this? And Julie said she was like all super confident and laughed it off, like, oh, I got this, ha ha ha. And just like,
she tried to pull an Amy Schumer. Let me ask you a
so
hypothetical.
that was a little more context that was like, that's kind of odd. But again, like there's so many things that seem fishy or sketchy, but nothing, it's
hypothetical question for you. You're walking into the bike casino.
Okay.
You see somebody like one of these sketchy, like like Isaac Hirsch, he's smoking crack outside. Sure. Do you continue? Would you still play with him at the table even though you just saw him smoke crack?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's people I know that are like huge fish and stuff where I'd be like, dog, you should like call it a day.
Fish means that they're like
bad. Very bad. Okay. They lose a lot of money. So like
Isaac's a fish.
So there's people that I've known where I've been like, dog, you should like probably go home. Which probably other pros would have wanted to fucking knife me when I said that because
you could steal more money.
Yeah, because they're like, what are we talking about? Like you play poker to have some crazy guy at the table lose a bunch of money. So why are you telling this guy to like be smart about it?
Right.
So like I have told that a few times to a friend, but like if it's a normal random guy, like I'm like, hey, it's not on me to like tell him how to deal with his finances. Like if he wants to trick off a bunch of money.
Gerardo, what do you think? Do you think a woman lied or do you think Garrett's a dick?
I think.
What's it, Robbie? Sorry to call it a woman.
I think she just doesn't know what she's doing.
That might be the case.
There's some people like some people are saying, hey, like maybe but that's the thing. Like,
because if it looks like shit and it smells like shit and it tastes like shit,
it's Flappers.
Yeah,
bathroom. It's Flappers toilet. Yeah, this doesn't work.
You know what I mean?
But people have done these videos where like I guess apparently too, like a lot of the big hands she got in, like she was taking like a lot of time, which some people are thinking, oh, she's like waiting for a signal to come in. And like whenever she is like taking a lot of times in these hands that are big, supposedly like she made like a good decision like every single time she's in one of these spots. I don't know. It's just weird that you would never play poker at all for any kind of stakes, and now all of a sudden you're playing for this amount against Phil. It's just there's so many weird things about it, but yeah, I mean, it could just be a bunch of coincidences, and that's why it's been such a captivating story because there's so many weird things to it.
Yeah. Well, in 3 months, she'll be in Alan Strickland Williams' apartment, waking up. All right.
Oh, and another thing. So this Garrett kid, after a couple days after this happened, he tweeted, he donated $135,000, the amount that was in question, the amount that she gave back to him. He donated it to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Los Angeles.
Wow. Well, I guess all's well that ends well.
And now people in the poker community are saying, hey, dude, like, I understand a lot of viewpoints is, like, hey, I understand you felt you got cheated. You may have got cheated, but you shouldn't have took the money from her. You should have given it to a third party. You should have put it in escrow. You should have let an investigation take place. That's how it should have been handled. You shouldn't have been judge, jury, and executioner. And then some people say, hey, he didn't take it from her. She gave it to him, which is another thing I guess you could say. Hey, he asked. She didn't pry it from her. She gave it to him.
If anything, give it to Flappers. They didn't.
But I think it's fair that it probably would have been better to put it in a third party. And so now people are saying, now that it's day 13 and there's not a bloody glove yet, people are thinking, dog, you got to give her the money back. Some players are saying, hey, you have to give her your money back. You shouldn't be allowed to play on the stream anymore if you don't give the money back. So now people are saying, like, you should give the money back, which I think that's
also an interesting point.
I think you probably should give the money back, or you should have had a third party escrow person hold it. So that's another that's another element to the story that I forgot to mention too.
That's fucking crazy.
And then another story. Okay, so another thing is she took a lie detector test because everybody was saying, hand over your phone record. Because she's saying, I'm innocent. I'll do anything. So people were saying, take a lie detector test then.
And she took it and she passed.
So she took a lie detector test. Now, but of course, people investigate the lie detector test. It's this rinky-dink looking lie detector. It looks like a rundown Saul Goodman office.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And it's in North Las Vegas. It looks like a total abandoned building. So, of course, people are thinking, why did you go 4 hours away to take a lie detector test?
Do it on the stream.
Why didn't you do it in LA? Why didn't you have a third-party lie detector test? People are saying, oh, we don't know how many lie detector tests she took. It's her PR team could have just had her take a bunch of tests. They had one that hit, and then they're saying, hey, look, here are the results.
Well, she's going to do it on the stream. They're gonna do that. That's the next move. It's a TV show.
So she did do a lie detector that she passed, but now, of course, people are saying it wasn't a third party. Why did you have to go to Vegas to do it? Look at the picture of where it's at. It looks like some abandoned building in Skid Row. Like, I'm not like, it looks like it's when you see the picture, like, what? This is where you took it? So
Skid
there's
Row.
so many layers to this. It's great, like the lie detector. But she said it. I don't know.
Since we got to Skid Row, we're basically already talking about where Scott Lurs lives. Let's do our favorite.
That's where I did my first open mic.
Checking in with Scott. Wait. Oh, yeah. I forgot that Lexington is pretty close to Skid Row.
It's like right there, pretty much.
Yeah. I hope that place is burned down by now. Checking in with Scott. Checking in with Scott. This is our last segment of the night.
Oh my God.
Continue as Gerardo. Why would anyone want to do that?
Oh my God.
Boom. Better log into that motherfucker.
I just logged in last week.
Man.
Oh my gosh. Entertain the people, Brendan.
I'm just laughing at you doing this. I think they're entertained by.
Nobody sees this.
Okay, well then never mind. I mean, we're just waiting. We figured out this whole poker thing. Oh no.
Shut up. Don't look at the screen.
I'll just read it off.
Oh my God.
I'll read it off my phone. If my phone even loads.
That's one of my favorite parts. I always sing it. Checking in with Scott. Checking in with Scott. I can't not say it. It's like so fun to say.
My phone is still down.
Yeah.
I think the internet might be down. That's hilarious.
Let's just
reset the internet.
Well, we figure it out. I guess we talk about the Dodgers. How we get screwed out of seeing the Dodgers play.
I don't give a shit about the Dodgers.
I thought you were a Dodgers guy. No. You post pictures of the game.
You guys heard about what happened with the chess stuff, right?
Yeah, that's another thing that's kind of tied into this. Is there's been a chess cheating scandal. There's a fishing cheating scandal. So there's just like so it's like very on topic with all this cheating stuff. Is like that's part of the global version of the story too. Yeah.
Yeah. The fishing one is just there's no like mystery to that one.
Yeah, I think they just like put weights in the fish or whatever. Yeah,
and they put fish in the fish.
Lot going on. Well, Adam, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, dude, it's a treat.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Not really. I guess I am doing commentary on Live at the Bike on Wednesdays. Not this Wednesday because I'm going to be out of town, but you can find me doing commentary on Live at the Bike on Wednesdays. And then
how do they do that? Like online or search?
Yeah, just on YouTube. If you do Live at the Bike on YouTube, you'll see their YouTube page where they have games like 4 or 5 days a week, but I do commentary on Wednesdays. Okay. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping to do like some comedy poker game up there. I'm trying to organize. I think that could be fun down the road. But yeah, and then so that's pretty much it.
So speaking of the Dodgers, Scott's recent tweet is damn, there's probably like hundreds of thousands of rally towels they had made just sitting at Dodger Stadium right now.
I don't even know what a rally towel is. I assume it's you wave it around.
And they always end up like in a third world country where it's like,
Oh, really?
yeah, because it's like 2018 champs, but it's like they lost because each team has to print off all this stuff, assuming that they win. But when the team loses, now you got 500
Hats.
Dodgers 2022 champs hats.
Yeah. I mean,
So what do
going
you do with that? So they end up in like,
Yeah.
you know, some random country as clothes or whatever.
Yeah.
going to the game is fun, but I don't care if they win or lose.
Yeah.
But that sucks for the fans. Sorry that you guys lost to the Padres. That's pretty hurtful.
Yeah.
Most wins in franchise history.
Yeah,
111
just down the
wins, all
drain.
for naught.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
We'll
no
be back
problem.
next week. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming, Adam.
Yeah, party on.
See you next week. Bye.